I went to the grocery store that night, and it was really loud. I was in intense pain, and when I was in the store, I finally just collapsed. I fell out. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but the next time I woke up, I was in an ambulance, and there was a woman standing over me. My mother was there, and there were other people in the room. "What's going on?" I moaned. "You passed out. The shopkeeper called 911, and the ambulance came to get you," my mom said. "Why did you pass out?" "I was just in so much pain," I explained to her. "Don't you understand?" "I told you, Lizzie, you have to get used to it. It's not that big of a deal." I moan out of agony. "Don't worry, honey. We're almost at the hospital," the paramedic said. A few minutes later, we pulled up to the hospital. They rolled me inside, and a few nurses looked at me strangely. I was covering my ears and curled up like a ball. "Is she okay?" "She's fine," my mother snapped. "She's just being dramatic." That made me cry. No one understood the pain I was in. I was in so much pain from all the noises. "Stop covering your ears," my mother said. "It's rude." "Mom, I don't want to hear it anymore, Lizzie. In case you haven't figured out, my real name is Aluna, but my mom calls me Lizzie. That's because my parents are divorced. My dad was the one who wanted to name me Aluna, but my mom always wanted to name me Lizzie. So now she calls me Lizzie, even though my real name is Aluna." "Why are you just so... You'll outgrow this. You'll understand one day when you grow up," she told me. She thought I was just being dramatic and all that stuff. She didn't understand that it hurt a lot, that the sounds were painful. The lady hooked me up to an IV. "On a scale from 1 to 10, how much pain are you in?" 8, I told her. "You are not in an 8 out of 10 pain," my mother snapped. "Be honest." That made me cry even more, because I was being honest, and I was in a lot of pain. People just kept telling me I wasn't in pain, and that I was faking it, and that how could the sounds be that painful, and all that stuff. No one understood. We made an appointment for her to see a neurotologist, the nurse explained. "It will just be a few minutes." In a few minutes, Dr. Mark Edwards walked into the room. "Hey," he said to my mom and shook her hand. "And this must be Aluna," he said. "Hi," I said to him. "Do you get pain from sound?" he asked me. "Yes." I saw my mother glaring at me. And then he did something strange. He turned to my mother and said, "I think that she may benefit from something called round oval window surgery." My mother laughed. She just has this thing in her head where she'll be all dramatic about the sound. "Are you sure? I've seen cases like hers before. It's severe neuropathic hyperacusis," he said. "I don't care what it is. My daughter's not having surgery," my mother said. Dr. Edward shook his head. I can't make that decision. I can only advise you and tell you what I feel would be best for her. And I do believe that your daughter is getting pain from sound. The sooner you acknowledge it, the better it will be when it comes to her treatment, Dr. Edwards said. Mom just laughed. She's not in that much pain. Then one of the nurses overheard. Your daughter fainted in the store from pain, and now you're saying she's not in pain? Dr. Edwards and the nurse took my mother outside and were talking to her for a long time. I think it was about 2.5 hours. When Mom came back into the room, she said, Lizzie, can I talk to you? There were tears in her eyes. Yes. Lizzie, I know I haven't been very understanding about what you've been going through. And I suppose maybe you do get pain, but I still just think you just need to get over it. And I'm not letting you have that surgery. I shake my head. That's Mom for you. No matter what anyone says to her, she never changes her mind. She's very stubborn. Okay. Now, I think that you're ready to go home. Are you? My mom asked. And no more of this nonsense. All right, I said to her. We went home. When I got home, I called my dad and told him what had happened. Dad, even though Mom and Dad are divorced, the only thing that they have in common is that they think that this whole sound thing is just a bunch of crap. So he didn't make me feel much better. All he said is, you'll just have to soldier through it. And it's all in your mind. And things like that. And so when I finally went to bed around 11:30 that night, I didn't feel any better than before I went to the hospital.